Hi everyone, I'm gonna try to do this video without my phone exploding too much. Work stuff. You know how it is. I actually have something kind of serious to talk about today. We've all dealt with it, witchy burnout. And witchy burnout is that feeling of, oh, I am a witch, I'm pagan, I have to do something. It's the holiday, it's the Sabbath. If I don't do anything, I'm a bad pagan. Well, no. If you don't do anything for a holiday or for a Sabbath or a full moon, you're not a bad pagan. You're a perfectly fine, okay pagan. And I actually want to talk about some of the causes of witchy burnout. One of them, and it's the one that I find happens to me the most, is the imposter syndrome. That feeling where you aren't as good as another pagan because maybe you don't have the tools they have, or you don't have, all the money to funnel into your practice, or you're living in a situation where you can't practice openly for either your safety or concerns of others, or allergies even. People, if you're living with someone who's severely asthmatic or very allergic to scents, you have to be careful with incense. So, ways to fix the imposter syndrome. Sorry, got something in my eye. Oh, that was weird. Acknowledge that your path is different and valid is the first thing to do. If you ever feel like you're not good enough because your path isn't as material as somebody else's. Yours could be a very spiritual path, but it's all in a meditative state. Study more. If you think that you just don't have the knowledge, study more. Find more history books. Find more, good witchy books. And just sit down and study. Maybe stop trying to practice so much and do more of the study aspect of it. Acknowledge that everyone has different means and different paths, and it's all valid and it's all okay. Because if you don't put yourself into bankruptcy trying to be witchy enough for somebody else. If you have no tools, you have no tools at this moment, and you will find them, or someone will give them to you, or you will be walking out at a park and find, a little stick and it's like the perfect shape for your wand. And there you go, free wand. You don't need, you know, a dresser full of crystals to be witchy. And just always remember that stuff doesn't make the witch. The witchiness makes the witch. You can do 1,000,001 spells just all in the astral or in the meditative state. You don't need to have things. Another problem is stress. Stress is a big one for me. And that's when I feel the most burnt out, is when I'm overly stressed with work or life or just general being sick and not feeling good. I don't know why, but I always get really stressed out when I'm sick. So take time for yourself. That's very important. Don't if it's a full moon and you're not feeling well and you're stressed out, take a bath and that's your full moon ritual. Take a nice hot shower and that's your full moon ritual. You don't have to do a ritual every single full moon. You don't need to do a full ritual every single Sabbath. It doesn't make you a bad witch. You don't equate practice with belief. You can be a pagan and not be a witch. You can be a witch and not be a pagan. they're not mutually exclusive. If you're a pagan, you don't have to do any witchcraft, any spells, anything like that. So if you're a pagan, you don't need a wand, you don't need, candles or anything. And sometimes, as weird as it sounds, doing a full de-stressing ritual with a bath and casting a circle or calling quarters or anything like that might be the thing you need to jumpstart your witchiness again. It's happened to me on quite a few occasions where I've just felt like I'm too stressed out and too tired and I don't want to do it, and then I just do a full de-stressing ritual where I clear out my witchy room, I move the altar, I set it up right, I do all that, and it just kind of jump starts everything, just forces you to do it. Another one is from a divine sense. So if you're a pagan and a witch, this will be more on you. So the deity may be telling you that your time together is over and it's time to not look for a new deity, but a new deity may be calling you. So if you work with somebody for a really long time, sometimes they're there for a certain span, and then you have to move on. They've taught you everything you need to know from them, and you need to move on to a new lesson. It's not saying that you can never honor that deity again, it's just saying, I've taught you what you need to know, move on. You might not have even found the right path, is another reason you might feel, burnt out over everything. If you're working with primarily Celtic deities and you're constantly feeling stressed or burnt out, or it's too much to remember, or sometimes even something as simple as names might be tripping you up and you're like, oh, I can't remember all these Celtic deity names. Maybe that's not the right path for you. Because there's something where it's one thing when you need to memorize a whole bunch of things. It's another thing if you can't. If it's just not resonating and clicking with you, it's not the path for you. And don't ever force yourself to work with a deity because you think you have to. Because this is, the goddess of love and I want love in my life and this is the best thing. If it's not going to work for you, it's not going to work for you, and forcing it is going to make it not fun or spiritually enriching. And the last one, for me, this is another one, it's feeling uninspired. And this usually happens when I get stagnant in my life. Like, if I work one job too long, I tend to feel like I don't want to do this anymore, and I get really stressed out, and I'm just uninspired in everything. And one thing that I found that helps is picking up a new tool or a new crystal or something like that and doing a full cleansing and charging ritual, because again, ritual can help jumpstart you if you're feeling uninspired, if you're feeling burnt out. And having a reason to do it other than, oh, it's the full moon or oh, it's a holiday, but to have like a reason, like a new stone or a new tool. It's like, oh, I have to bless this, I have to charge this, I have to cleanse it. Kind of gets you back on track. Read witchy books, but not necessarily nonfiction books. Like, read books about witches that don't portray witches badly. Like, I would say something like Wicked, or what are they called? I know the first one was called Dancing with Dragons, or maybe that wasn't the first one. But it's a children's book series, and there's like 5 or 6 books. And a couple of the main characters are witches, but they're like good witches. But it has a fun little take on it. There's a princess who really sucks at being a princess. And another thing that I've always found that helps is watching the witchy YouTubers. Just sometimes connecting with other people helps you reconnect with your path in a way that is a lot less stressful than writing out a whole ritual. And try to connect with witches in your community too. If go to the local New Age store if you're lucky enough to have one nearby. And just see what everyone's doing. Talk to people. And even if you don't do ritual with them or celebrate holidays with them, you at least get to see that other people are practicing similar to you. And that always helps. And there's some really, really great YouTube witches that are totally worth checking out. Just type paganism or witchcraft into the bar and just lose yourself for hours with some of these great men and women. That's all the tips and tricks I have for you. The 4 big reasons why I get witchy burnout. If you have any questions or comments or any other suggestions for how to cure the burnout, put them in the comments below. Remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you around. Have a great day. Bye.